The following is a Productions original series.
Hello and welcome to Walk and Roll Live. I'm Doug Vincent, along with Eric Aguilar, who is not here today. Yeah, he had another class today, was going to take up most of the day, so I recruited my friend Kelly, Forrest Kelly, and we will hear more from him in just a second. First, I want to tell you, again and again and again, I am a polio survivor, crutch and brace user for years, and transitioned into a wheelchair user over the last 20 years. And Mr. AB, how you doing today?
Yes, Forrest Kelly. I'm AB and a frequent slapstick user. And apparently a semi-regular basis here, the third week in a row.
I know.
Everybody.
You're going to start asking for money.
Well, at least some swag. Although, I will tell you, this is a segue, what they call in the business. I was, latest activity last week, went camping and got a little chilly at night. So what did I do? I reached into the bag and out I pull a hoodie with Productions across.
Very nice. That's a substantial sweatshirt too, right? Did it do the trick?
It is. It was beefy, yeah, and I kept it on throughout the night, and I did not get cold as I did the previous night.
Awesome. So we have some quality swag here at Productions / Walk and Roll Live. So, any more stories about the camping trip? How'd it go? I mean, this is the part of the show where we share our adventures.
Hang on just a second. Got to get the wet, dry vac out because I spilled my freshly made smoothie all over the carpet.
You did not.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Where's the dog?
Oh, I turned my head and he was licking it. Like, no, you can't be having that. There's too many chemicals in there. With some HMB, some creatine, all that good stuff. But it's been the more I get out in public, the more I can't stand it. I was picking up bottle caps the whole time. I had just had
out in the middle of nowhere.
Yes, at a camping site, and it's like, come on, people, the garbage it was putting away all the time, and but the biggest catch was by Grayson, my son Orion's volleyball teammate and schoolmate. Mm-hmm. He caught not a fish, not an animal, but what would you guess he pulled from the bottom of the Lake Hemet, and it was usable. And he was glad about it. He was overjoyed.
Wow. So the bottom of Lake Hemet, usable, and he was okay with it.
Yeah.
Now you're talking to probably a teenager.
Uh-huh, yeah.
I feel like that should help me out.
What was he doing?
Well, first of all, was he fishing for fish?
Yes, he was fishing.
Okay, so he was fishing.
So what did he pull up but a fishing pole?
Oh, didn't see that one coming.
A severe upgrade. He had we bought him the push button, the old Zebco. Yeah, we had the push button, but this was an actual spinner reel, and it was a nice fiberglass pole, and somebody probably dumped it in when it was new, and it went over so quick they couldn't get it.
Yeah. So he got it in good shape.
Yeah, it was good shape. We rinsed it off a little bit, and it was good to go. He was, man, he jumped out of the truck when we got to his house, and he said, "Mom, guess what I got?"
So he went from being a wannabe fisherman, no fishing poles, to now he's got two, so he's bona fide hooked. Go to bump.
Oh man,
that's awesome.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. It was a nice camping trip and a little bit cold, but that's what sleeping bags, double it up on the sleeping bags.
Yeah. And you went camping. I mean, right? You were in a tent.
Yeah, a tent and sleeping bag, and made our own meals and cooked them right there and stuff. But
I used to do that all the time. Ironically, my daughter Natalie, she sent me a couple of pictures of some things that we picked up on various trips when she was a kid. She said, "Just so you know, I have these things in my office up on my shelf." I don't know where that came from. It's really not like her, but I loved it.
Well, that's kind of neat.
Yeah. It was very awesome. Because she's just not we've talked, she's not very, like the sentimental type. So that was sweet.
Yeah.
And I don't go camping anymore because I admire you for doing that. Because, that whole getting on the ground and getting back up, is what kind of keeps me from doing it.
Oh, gee whiz. Yeah, I was like, oh, man, dirt meets bone. It is not a pleasant thing. And I said, I'm going to write a country song on that one.
You got the title.
Yeah.
I like it. I don't feel like trying to think back over my week, nothing, that I could go on and bore people with at this point, which I usually do. I'm trying to think. Yeah, nothing huge, kind of the usual weekly things.
The topic that cracked me up, though, was Drew's comment, your brother, saying about the garage door opener and the front door.
Yeah, I'm having an issue with my garage door. He's going to listen to this, and maybe he can clarify for me. But it doesn't work, so I have to come to the front door and use the key and all that. So for 23 years-ish, I come in through the garage, go in through the house. It's just nice and easy. And so, I guess I did tell the story last week where I didn't have a key when I got home from my trip. Yeah, so this is I was talking to Forrest and just saying for whatever reason that it bothers my brother that I use the garage door to go into the house. And that's kind of it. And now that I'm forced to use the front door key, it's irritating me. Yeah. Bam.
Well, he's never been to your house, right?
No, he's been. Yeah.
Okay.
He ain't got that excuse.
Okay, so Drew, even navigating, I've had to haul some things into Doug's house. Navigating that corner, there's a little stretch that goes north-south, and then the other part goes east-west. And just navigating that, it's a sharp corner, and if you go off, there is a dip. It's not smooth transition from the sidewalk into the St. Augustine grass or whatever it is. What is it? Is it St. Augustine?
You're talking coming in on the sidewalk. I thought you were talking about my hallway kind of does the same thing. No. Okay, I got you. Yeah.
Yeah, and then getting into your front door is not an easy task. And then if you drop the keys, and Doug's, he can also double as on set as a janitor. Mm-hmm. He's got a few keys on the old key ring there. If you drop that lead weight, it's a whole thing. So yeah, the garage door is a straight shot right in the house. Right
in the house. And I have a ramp in the garage that I built so I can get up that step, but I don't have a ramp until just recently for the front door. So it's nice, even though I never use it. So the rare times when I do use it, which is generally to go out and retrieve an Amazon package.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. So if I couldn't reach it, because they generally will put it close enough I can reach it, and I have a little. I think it's something to do with painting. It's a little like a stick. What do you call it? Like help me out here, Forrest. Like if you have you're painting the walls up high, and you have it on like a broom handle, but it's a paint handle, right? So you've got that, and at the end, it's got a roller thing without the roller on it, but it's for a small roller. It's about 4 or 5 inches wide. So that's my hook. So from inside the house, I can usually reach and pull them into the door and get it close enough that I can pick it up and bring it in. But there are times when it's a big enough box that I really need to lift it over the step. So I would have to go all the way out through the garage, around that sidewalk that you were just describing, come up to the door, put it inside the house, then go all the way back around. So I finally got a ramp. So in those instances, I can just go down the ramp, get the box, put it in, go. So there we go with Doug's boring story for the week. There you go.
Another thing that the last thing on my list to talk to you about is a friend recommended it, and I thought, no way. And then I remember reading the article and just being dumbfounded by the whole thing. But have you seen It's a Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, Tom Hanks?
Oh, the movie? No, I have not.
Have you read the story in Esquire magazine about Fred Rogers, Mr. Rogers?
I have not.
Okay. You've got to watch it, because I never watched the TV show, but it would be on from time to time, and I'd watch it, and I never really got it.
Me neither.
Even as an adult, I never got it. But after seeing the movie, wow. And Doug and I are alike in that there's details in our radio production and things that we do that people don't notice. And it's part of, you don't notice them. That's why we do it, is because if you didn't do it, you would notice it. And we see it every day in the lax quality control of, productions. I listened to a podcast today on Dateline, a Dateline podcast from NBC, major motion picture, major money that they've got behind them.
Yeah.
And the volume level of the host is here, and the commercial is way back here. It's like, oh, if I was the sponsor of that particular episode, I would be with it. It's muffled and it's severely dropped. But anyway, Fred Rogers goes into the details about the human psyche in his episodes and in his dealings with his writers. So you got to see it.
Well, that's all I need, because I have seen it on. I think it's on Prime, Amazon Prime.
I watched it on Hulu.
Hulu, oh, yeah, I have Hulu too. So yeah, I've seen it, and I'm like kind of intrigued, and I'm like, I love Tom Hanks, everything he does. So yeah, that's all I need to push me off the fence. I'll check it out.
About 20 minutes in, it's kind of slow, so you got to kind of wait for it, and it'll finally happen.
And I like that kind of thing, biopics. I watch a lot of those. So
yeah,
you know what? There was a big event this last week, and I was just looking through my calendar, and like, how could I miss that? I had a wonderful birthday, I got to say. Really, really. Top 5, maybe, really. I just, it started last Wednesday. I'm sure I mentioned here that I go out and have dinner with the dogs, and we do it Dogs Night Out. These are former military dog handlers. Some of them, well, I think most of them probably Vietnam era guys and gals. And so we go out to dinner once a month, and it happened to fall close to my birthday. So, they got me the birthday and had the restaurant sing to me and that whole routine. That was Wednesday night. And then Thursday, I go to the Loma Linda Veterans Village and work with some wonderful people there every Thursday. And God love them, they brought me a bundt cake. Jennifer made that, and they sang. As I roll by, they stop. Hey, stop! As I'm rolling in, and they've got the over easy up set up and everything set out, and they all stop me, and then they sing. There's like 10, 12 people all singing me happy birthday. So, I felt that love. And then Friday, went to the Antithesis dance, the Kiwanis Action Club dance Thursday night or Friday night. So that was fun. And then Saturday morning, and Friday morning went to see my granddaughter. Yeah, she, bless her heart, she tells Grandma, it's Grandpa's birthday, so can we do a little party for him, and can you make brownies? And she planned out the whole thing. So I went over there Friday morning. And then Saturday morning, went with my daughter and granddaughter to breakfast and had a little birthday breakfast. So had like a birthday week. It was awesome.
What number are we up to?
What was that? I think something wrong with your mic. I don't know what it is. No, I'll say 69.
What?
Exactly. Now I'm starting to. It's getting in my head already, and it's a year away. The big 7-0, and I'll tell you, I've never been one to really fret about 30, 40. There was one for a little while. I think it might have been 50 for about a day or so before. I remember it started to kind of get in my head, and I'm like, whatever. 60 was fine. Had a big party for that, and but 70 starting to get in my head. So we'll see how it is.
The only time I notice is that when somebody passes away that's younger than I am.
Yeah. Or even around your age, that'll hit a little bit too. Yeah. But
just
younger,
think of all
definitely.
the stuff that I've done since they died. It's like, okay, all that stuff that I've done would be gone if I passed away at that age.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Well, one other thing before we get to our interview today, wanted to thank you, sir, for joining us last week on our episode for the Paralympics. Mike Rosenkrantz from SoCal Adaptive Sports. Thank you all. Thank him for his insight. I don't know if we would have had a show without him, so that was awesome. And he's introduced me to a couple of gentlemen that we may have on in the future. So thank you, Mike. Appreciate it. Been in touch with Andrew Skinner with Triumph Foundation. He is in London already and heading to Paris for the Paralympics. So hopefully, I was kind of hoping I might get something for today, but if not, we'll do something next week for next week's episode and kind of get his impressions of what's going on. Or maybe I'll drop something even between now and then if he gives me a little something, just a quick, 5-minute kind of an homage to the best 5-minute wine podcast. Do a little short walk and roll live and get into that.
Oh, yeah. Good. Yeah. Because the 2024 Summer Paralympics coming up on the 28th. 28th,
yes.
Yeah.
And, it's on NBC and all those affiliated channels. So kind of the same place if you watch any of the Olympics, going to be all in the same places, I think. Yeah. And today, got a special guest. Well, they're all special, right? But somebody I've been kind of talking with for a while and inviting her. And I don't think, if you hear the interview, I don't think she was apprehensive about coming on. It was just kind of getting everybody lined up and got her on today. And something very special this week. I won't reveal it here. We'll talk with or hear from Unyielding Professional Training, and then we'll be back and hear more from Rebeca Valenzuela. This is Doug with Forrest Kelly on Walk and Roll Live. We'll be right back.
At Unyielding Professional Training, we know that your greatest asset is your team. Investing in their development, knowledge, and happiness is essential for your business's success and growth. To achieve new heights, it's important to hire intelligent, talented individuals and empower them to excel in their areas of strength and passion. Unyielding is committed to transforming your employees into happier, more productive, and fulfilled individuals. When your team thrives, your business prospers. Wise leaders understand that providing team members with opportunities to shine in their strengths unlocks untapped potential. Elevate your team with Unyielding Professional Training and witness the growth of your business.
You're listening to Walk and Roll Live Disability Stories.
Welcome back to Walk and Roll Live. We've got a young guest today who doesn't have as many years post-injury or diagnosis as many of our previous guests. Let's start with an introduction. So as I think, Rebecca, you've listened to the show, we'd like to start out with your name, where you're from, and your disability status.
Hello, I am Rebeca Valenzuela. I am 25 years old. I am from Hemet, California, so near Riverside. And I am paralyzed from my T7 down to my L5. I have spinal fusion on my T10, T11, and 2 metal plates.
Well, welcome to Walk and Roll Live. And I can't let this moment pass without telling you, you're our very first in-studio guest on Walk and Roll Live.
Woohoo!
Yeah. Everything else we've done from Zoom or phone calls or whatnot. So very exciting to have you in here today. Thank you.
Well, it's a pleasure. Thank you for having me here.
And for the third week, I think Eric, our normal co-host, is off learning. He's got a online webinar that he's going to started a few hours ago, actually, and is going to go through this afternoon. So he couldn't make it. So our stand-in of all stand-ins, Mr. Forrest Kelly, is here with us today from the best 5-minute wine podcast.
Woo!
Yay!
Yeah, I'm the abnormal guy. If Eric is the normal guy, I'm the abnormal guy.
Well, welcome aboard.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you for
a
taking
couple
some
of
time.
questions before we get started. Rebecca,
Go.
got for Rebecca.
Yes.
Rebecca, okay, first of all, how were Doug's directions in getting to the Unyielding studios?
Very, very simple and easy.
Okay.
Very
All
good.
Right, good deal. And then as soon as you showed up, did he offer you a cool, refreshing beverage?
Yes, a cold water.
How do you like me now, huh?
Right on.
You're trying to get
Right
me.
on. That's a green room staple.
It looks amazing in here. It's one of my first studios that I've ever been in, and it smells delicious. Smells nice in here.
Oh, that's
and it
good.
looks pretty.
Did he give you the good headphones?
Yes.
Only the best for the guest. Oh,
Loud
you know
and
what?
clear.
Okay.
That reminds me, I got one other little parting gift I wanted to share with her. We got some swag here from the program. Got some stickers.
Definitely putting this on my wheelchair.
Good. All righty. So where should we start in getting to know Miss Rebecca? We always like to start kind of maybe early life, just to, give it a sort of overview of, what kind of girl you were, what kind of, what your interests were, that kind of thing.
We could start from my birth because I was a surprise baby.
Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, good.
My parents got their tubes tied after having 4 kids, or 3. I'm the 4th one. So they had 3 kids. And then after my brother, because he had a pacemaker, he had to get open heart surgery as a baby. They were a little nervous to have more kids.
Yeah.
And they decided to have their tubes tied, or my mom decided to have her tubes tied. And from there, they were like, no more kids, we're done. And I ended up going through my mom's tubes still, even though they were closed.
Really?
And my mom was like, oh, I feel sick. And then all of a sudden she was pregnant with me. And then my dad calls me his miracle baby, and so does my mom. And honestly, it's an honor to be a part of my family because I look up to them all very much. They're very strong, hardworking people, and I'm first generation Mexican American. So it's an honor to be in America. It's an honor to be the first disabled one in my family as well.
Well, and from the very beginning, Rebecca couldn't be stopped.
Nope.
Right? Yeah.
Nope. I came pushing. I was like, nope, I'm coming up. Here I am. It's my time to shine.
So that's interesting. A lot of times, I'm just going to say, a lot of times, real quick for us, just a lot of times when there's a tubal ligation, sometimes that's a tubal pregnancy. So, but you were able to, and your mom was able to have a normal, typical pregnancy.
Yeah.
That's good. Good. And what were you saying, Forrest?
Well, first of all, ligation. I had to look that up for a second.
Sorry.
You went tubular on me there. What? Yeah, just the odds of isn't it like 99.9% once you get to the female gets her tubes tied? I know the male it's 99.9. I don't know the female is. It's not going to happen, but still happened with you. Wow.
Rebecca said no. You are not going to deny me.
I was like, hey, you guys wanted me? I'm here.
Yeah.
You got to take me or not.
So how did things go growing up? What were your what was your personality?
I grew up with 4 siblings. So it was my oldest sister, Perla, my second oldest, Crystal, and then my brother, David, and then me. Everybody thought I was older than my brother because I took care of my brother like he was my baby. Mm-hmm. But we kind of always had like the older sister, younger brother thing. So it was me and my oldest, and then my 2 middle brother and sister were like super close. And I was a brat. I was spoiled rotten.
Own it.
And then, what else? I kind of always got my way, like especially with my dad, my stepdad as well. I just had to give him these little goo-goo eyes, like these little puppy eyes, and then they'd always just be like, okay, Becky, okay, don't start crying.
It's hard to resist.
Yeah. We grew up with animals, so we were kind of always out and about, just always outside, and my brother was like kind of an inside-outside kid. I was kind of an outside kid. I kind of just always like being out, playing with dirt. I was always a dirty kid. I was a giant baby. Like, I cried over everything.
Oh, that guy. Oh, I thought you meant in stature. Okay.
No.
All right.
No, I was a chunky baby. I was big. I think I was like the biggest baby that my mom had, maybe, I think. And then, what else? Sorry, I'm excited. I don't know what to say.
No, you're good. So I for whatever reason, and I hope I don't, insult, but you seem like you could have been a bit of a tomboy.
Oh, extreme tomboy.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Me and my brother, it was literally like me and my brother did everything together. I hung out with my brother's friends, and I was always like don't forget about me. Even though I'm a girl, I could still play. I could still play football. I could still play softball. I could still play this. I was very athletic as a child. Like, me and my brother were always competing, and like, I wouldn't compete with girls. I would always compete with guys because the guys would always be faster. Like, if I knew I had a competition, it would always be my brother and his friends. Like, we would do hurdles in elementary school, and it would be me and my brother doing hurdles, running next to each other, and then we would be like eyeballing each other, just like, we got this, no, I got this, no, I got this, and then we'd always make fun of each other. He'd always beat me, but, he gave me that type of competition, like that fire and that drive that I have inside me.
So kind of raised your game.
Yeah. Most definitely. Yeah. And he was artistic, loved to draw, loved to make music. He's a really great guy. He passed away about a year ago, but he motivated me to be like the person that I am, very strong and independent.
Yeah.
My whole family is very independent. Like, my dad raised us since we were very little. He's a mechanic. So he's always like, work on your cars. You don't need a man to do it for you. You know how to do your oil changes. You know how to change your tires. You know how to change your brakes. If you need anything, come to me. I'll teach you how to do it. You could do it yourself. So I never really had trouble with cars. And now that I'm disabled, I look at my car and I'm like, oh, well, I could ask my dad now. Now I have an excuse.
Yeah, just give him the puppy eyes.
Yep. But he still tells me, you could get underneath your car and do it. And I'm like, I can? Are you sure I can? And he's like, yes. And I'm like, okay, you're right. He's like, you're not mentally incapable. You're physically, from your legs down, incapable of doing it. And I'm like, that's true. He's like, hey, you don't need your legs to do anything with a car. Like, he's like, as you can tell, you have your hand controls. And I'm like, that's true.
Yes, absolutely. So, like you got into the later years of your teen years and life is beginning. You're thinking about what you wanted to be. What were your dreams at that point? Well,
I knew since I was like 6 years old, I wanted to be a teacher. I loved teaching people. I loved helping people. And I was always a teacher's pet. And I was always that one student running around helping people. Like, if they didn't understand something, I would help them. And I did have a learning disability. I was put in special ed classes because I was a slow learner, because I only spoke Spanish. Like, I didn't speak anything really. I was like mute as a child until I was like the age of like 7, like first grade. And then from first grade to like second and third grade, I spoke Spanish, and I wasn't really comfortable speaking at all. So I would get teased a lot. And then,
do you have a kind of a feeling for what that was about? I mean, you obviously could speak, you know?
I just think I was uncomfortable because I went to a school where, like, it was like your persona was who you were. Like, you had to be this person. And it was very super structured, like from a child. Like, when you're a child growing up, like, you had to have name brand stuff and this and that. And to me, like, I'm still this way to this day. I don't care what I have. And it doesn't have to be brand name. It doesn't have to be of the year, of the make, whatever. Yeah. I just know as long as I worked for it and I paid for it, or whoever gifted it to me, as long as it came from the kindness of their heart, I will cherish it and I will own it forever. Yeah. Even if it's a pair of shoes, if it's a pair of clothes, or even a bag. Like, I'm one of those people that just I know you're not supposed to attach yourself to things, but I kind of just love the things that I receive from anyone or even from myself.
So that was your way of dealing with it, just kind of going quiet, inside yourself.
Yeah. And my brother was my best friend. So I never really had to worry about anyone or anything. And I was just like, I was that kid that was always doing athletic stuff, just like on the monkey bars or running around or on the swings. Like, I was always by myself. And I was never afraid to be by myself because my parents always told me, you're not here to please people and people aren't here to please you. You're here to do what you have to do because you're going to school. Once you're done with school, once you're done with your second home, you can come back home and we're your parents again, and then you can do whatever you want here. So that's kind of like the rules and regulations I kind of lived by as a child.
I like it.
It kind of shaped me to be who I am now, in a sense. Like, I try to follow rules, but I break a lot of rules still.
Yeah, it seems that way, yeah. I kind of imposed those rules on myself, I think, during school. You know, I went to school, obviously, but in my mind, I'm giving it 100% when I'm at school. Mm-hmm. And then when I go home, you know, I'm going to do the things I want to do, play and, you know, play sports with my friends or do whatever. And, you know, but I'm focused when I'm at school. I'm getting my work done. I'm taking care of my homework, all those things. Yeah. So,
I think one of my favorite things about school was just the fact that I got to help other people. One of my biggest passions in life, and even to this day, I love helping people, and it makes me so emotional because, like, I notice, like, a lot of people like to help people, but they do it for something. And then for me, it's more like, I just want to see a smile on your face. I just want to see you succeed. I want to see you move on. Like, go to the next step in your life that you know you're allowed to be. Give yourself that right.
Yeah.
Like, give yourself the opportunity to tell yourself you're proud of yourself. And like my parents always told us, like my stepdad, my mom, and my dad, and like my entire family, because I was a baby, they always told me, I'm proud of you, I'm proud of you. So I've never not heard I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
And like when I hear I'm proud of you from people that are in wheelchairs, it means so much to me, because I'm only 2 years in and they're 5, 10, 6 years in or more. And just to hear them tell me they're proud of me is good job, Rebecca. You're going in the right steps. Like, you're doing the right things. Like you're being successful in a way where I can tell you, I see you and I see what you're doing for us, because I'm not trying to be successful and get all this stuff for myself. I want to make accomplishments for myself. So when other people that were my age get injured, or if anything happens to anybody from now on, they have somebody to look at and be like, hey, I want to do what she did. I don't even care. You want to be like me? Be like me. Be better than me.
Yeah.
Like, be the greatest version of yourself, but always know that there's always more in you that you could give to yourself, which you could feed the rest of the world.
And we're definitely going to talk more about what you do on that front a little bit later. So we'll put a pin in that. But at some point, there's an injury.
Yes.
Right. And, and everything changes.
Yes.
Right. So tell us about, I guess, just that day. How did that go?
I got home from work around 8:30. I worked at Applebee's. It's one of my favorite restaurants since I was growing up, and I liked it a lot. I finally I was moving up really fast from like car side to server. I was working up to my management position, so I was competing against somebody else, and he was back of the house, I was front of the house, and I learned the kitchen and everything. So from that day forward, I was like, okay, my life is going to get better from here. Like, I knew from that day, I was like, I'm moving up in my life. Like, I'm going to where I need to be. I'm going to start making money for myself. I could get a place. I could start saving up. And I went home, took a shower, came out of my shower. I slid on, I had porcelain tile. Mm-hmm. I slid on a puddle of water and flew up. I don't know, my legs went up higher than my head, landed on the beam of the shower, lost all sensation in my legs. Within like a second, I knew I was paralyzed without knowing I was paralyzed. But I told myself, get up. I was like, get up, Rebecca. I was like, stop playing, get up. So I went to like basically do like a tricep dip, and I felt a lot of pain in my back, but I had such an adrenaline kick that like I was like, oh, I can't feel anything, that's weird. And I was like, oh, I guess like my body just went warm, weird. And I started feeling all these electrical pulses in my legs, like literally like if something was turning off all my little nerves in my legs, like it's just a switch, and it was just like do all one by one. And I felt it, like I felt my pain all the way in like my ribs. My ribs started hurting really bad, like, and I started pushing on them, and I was like, okay, everything's starting to hurt. And then I was like, oh man, you just became paralyzed. And I kind of chuckled a little bit. And then I was like, well, you either become really bitter or you become the happiest girl. You become happier than you were.
This is all happening in this moment.
In like 5 minutes, yes.
Yeah, wow.
And then I kind of just like, I didn't even cry. I sat there. I felt really numb. Like, I don't know what to feel. I don't know whether to feel excitement because I'm never going to have a job again. Or I didn't know whether to feel excitement for, I don't know, maybe having a better life. That's what I thought. Maybe this is my turnaround. Maybe this is the way I need to experience life so I could see the value, be more grateful.
Forrest, isn't that amazing that she could be open to all of that in that moment?
First of all, Rebecca, you explained that very well. As soon as you started telling the story of the shower, I was picturing a shower with all tile and then the floors, and I'm always amazed at how slick tile is. And it's like, wow, why do people put tile down on those floors and things? And then you were telling about the whole thing, and then I started, I got the sad emotion as you were going through the whole thing. I even got a little tear in the eye, and then I started laughing when you were saying that you're paralyzed, and it's like instantly you became a doctor, and it's like, what? You knew, and you made yourself diagnosed right then and there, rather than I got to get to a doctor and let's see what he says.
Yeah, I did sports medicine in high school, and I was very interested in going into medicine, and I did nursing for a year. So I did get my CNA, and I just couldn't go through with it because it wasn't my niche, to be honest. Yeah. But so I've seen hurt people before. I just never seen anybody paralyzed. And when your arm falls asleep when you're laying on it, that's kind of what it felt like. So I was like, well, if it's not coming back to life, that means that I'm paralyzed. So that's kind of like I don't know. I felt a little sadness. I felt a little like,
yeah.
I mean, I felt a thrill because I'm an adrenaline junkie. Me and my brother were like, that's what we live off of. We love the dangerous life. Like, that's how me and my brother were. But now I have to be more careful for sure. But, I went through all the motions. The 5 stages of grief instantly. I was taught that in high school because my stepdad passed away when I was 16 years old or 17. And he was like huge. He was like my dad.
Yeah.
Like my dad's my dad, but like my stepdad's my dad as well. And like I just have a huge heart for him. And like it just stunk because he was only with me for a little bit of time. But through all the years that he was with me, I have learned so much. And that's why I said I'm honored to be a part of my family, because they've taught me all the core things that you need to know as a young person, as an adult, and as whatever else I need to be in life. And they also taught me, like, if you get angry, you got to work double to get happier. I don't want to be angry. I don't want to be mad about things.
No.
So I've learned to intake things, release them. And my high school did teach me that. I was in a grievance group with like 5 other kids, and it was hard, but then I realized, like, this is what I want to do. I like to help people. I like to teach people. And through all the pain and all the sadness that we endured as a group, we all came out stronger. We all came out happier. And like, we all have learned from each other. And each of us had a different family member die. Like, it could have been somebody's grandma, and like my friend's mom. It was one of my closest friends' mom. And then it was my stepdad. So it was just like, we all had different people, and the people who were teaching us were about in their 80s. There's 2 elderly women, and they were teaching us everything about life, like all the secrets that you should know that you don't get to know until you're older. And that's like, I just have a big open heart, open mind, because I've just been around so many people, and I'm so accepting because people are so accepting of me. Like, people like kind of sometimes misjudge me. They're like, oh, you seem so aggressive. You seem so mean. And I'm like, well, yeah, until you start talking to me. And then I'm like the nicest person you will ever know. But it's just my face front, because I get nervous. My nervousness makes me act tough. But I'm actually like really sweet.
Well, it sounds like a couple of things. Is that you were, I don't know about uniquely prepared, but you had a lot of lessons that prepared you for that day.
Yes,
right?
I did, yes.
Recognize that. Yeah.
No, I don't want to say like my life's purpose was to become paralyzed. No, but in a sense, the way my life added up, the way all the struggles that I had to go through from such a young age to now, I really do feel like it has, all the pain had made me stronger. And from being stronger, it had made me the person that I needed to be to get to where I'm at right now. Because I honestly don't think I would have been as strong if I didn't do wrestling, if I didn't do boxing, if I didn't do jiu-jitsu. And that's all mental. That's
pre-injury,
all mental.
Pre-injury.
Yeah, pre-injury.
Right? Yeah.
So, sorry, I did that in high school. I forgot to add that in there,
No,
too.
that's all right.
So I was super athletic as, like, ninth grade, I seen wrestling. I seen these guys all over the mats throwing each other all over the place. And then I was like, ooh, I need to try that. Like, I want to do this. And I was the only girl that went out on the mats and tried it. And I got slammed on the floor, and it gave me such an adrenaline kick that I got right back up, and we kept going at it. And I didn't tell my parents. I forged their signature. Like, I know I could get in trouble, but
I'll ask for forgiveness.
I just ended up doing it, and then all 4 years I went through with it, and I did jiu-jitsu with my sister after, and then I did a little bit of boxing, like just practice boxing. Now, I didn't really get into it too much because I get really upset when I get hit in the face. Like, yeah, just makes you really mad.
That's probably normal.
Like, I'll probably start either crying or I'll just attack you. There's one or the other. Yeah. I fell in love with just the endurance of having just to continue the process even though it hurts.
Yeah.
Like, and I really feel like that built me to be where I'm at right now. So when I did become injured, when I broke my back, my first thoughts were like everything I said, and then, okay, what's your next step? Like, I literally told myself, what's your next step? Ha ha ha, you can't take a step. And then I was like, all right, enough messing around. You gotta call somebody. And then I didn't get taken in the ambulance until I think I broke my back around 8 p.m. They didn't pick me up until like 9.
Was somebody else home?
No, I was waiting for my boyfriend at the time to come home. And then he thought I was messing around, hiding. I was on the floor. He's like, babe, where are you? Looking all over the house. And I could just like, I see him. And I'm just like, at this point, I think I'm in so much pain that I can't say anything.
Shock.
Yeah, shock. That's what it was. I was in shock that I couldn't say anything. And then he just like sees me on the ground, and I'm like, it hurts, it hurts, it hurts. And he's like, what? And I'm like, I can't move my legs. I can't move my back. He has a panic attack. I have to calm him down. I'm trying to stay calm. And I'm like, just put me on the bed. I don't know why my first thought was put me on the bed when I know you're not supposed to move anybody once they get hurt.
Yeah.
It's a common sense. I was just like, get me off this floor. It's so hard. It's hurting. And I was also like kind of at an angle, like my neck was pulled up. So it was pulling on my spine or my spinal cord. And I just knew something was like wrong because it was hurting really bad.
Yeah.
So I was just like, just grab me from underneath my armpits and just put me on the bed. He's like, I don't know how to grab you. I'm scared. I don't want to hurt you. And I was like, if I'm telling you to do it, you're going to do it. Put me on the bed. I will hold my breath. I will do whatever I need to do to make sure I'm fine. I engaged my core as hard as I could for the last time, and I felt my hips just drop. Like, as soon as he lifted me, I engaged as hard as I could, and then, like, I felt like a disconnect and then just a pop. And then I was like, ah. And I just leaned over the bed, and I just held on to it. And I was like, do not touch me. And I was half on the bed, half off the bed. And I was like, just give me 1 second. I'm about to start screaming or crying. I was like, I don't even know what to do right now. I was like, now I'm starting to feel pain. Like, now I'm feeling it. And then he was like, okay. Like, what do you want me to do? And then I was like, just, I'll crawl on the bed, but just grab my legs and just make sure I'm on the bed. He's like, okay, puts me on the bed. And then I like get on it, and I feel like how soft it is. And I feel all the pain just in my head. And I'm like, I think I'm going to pass out. I'm in a lot of pain. And I was like, wait, Rebecca, why are you freaking yourself out? Just breathe. Everybody needs to breathe when they're in pain. Just breathe. And I started just breathing normally because I started hyperventilating. And I started noticing that the more I hyperventilate, the more pain I started to feel. So I just started breathing, and I was like, don't cry, don't react. Just be as still as you can. So I just like laid there, and then I was like, can you shake my legs just to see if I could feel them? And he grabs my feet and he like shakes them. And then I was like, ooh, yeah, no, I can't feel them, but I do feel a lot of pain. Mm-hmm. And I was like, just call the ambulance. And then he's like, okay, so we call. It's like an hour later, a complete hour later. We don't know how long the process just was so long that I don't even notice like the time. And I don't think he did either. I think we were just trying to calm down and not freak out. But it was an
hour between the call and the ambulance showing up?
Mm-hmm. And then the ambulance shows up about 15 minutes later, and then they take me to Hemet Hospital. They don't do trauma care there, so they take me to RUHS, which is in Moreno Valley, and they do emergency. They take me to trauma care too. And I just remember like being awake this entire time, squeezing my Squishamallow that I got for my birthday, my 23rd birthday. And I just remember like yelling into it. And I was like, do you guys think you guys could play some music so I can stop yelling? I was like, I want to be distracted. And they were like, okay, yeah, sure. Anything. Yeah. They were so sweet to me, the paramedics. Like, I mean, I never really get in ambulances, but they were so nice to me. Like, I was like, I kept asking, I was like, is this a dream? Like, is this real or is this a dream? And they're like, no, this is real. Like, this is real life. And I was like, okay, well, then I guess I'll just accept it. Like, I was moving on now. And then they were like, what do you want to listen to? And I was like, oh, I guess we'll listen to Willow Smith, because she's like an artist. Like, she's like a very like soothing, very nice, calm, like one album specifically I liked from her. And I was like, just play this girl. And they basically the entire time were just like going really fast, trying to get to the hospital. I got there at 11:30, and then the entire time I did not take any pain medicine. I was like, I don't want anything. I don't want to be drowsy. I don't like that feeling. I like to be in control of my body. I was like, I could handle pain. Like, my pain level, I can handle a lot. You guys don't know. I don't like to take pain medicine. So they were like, okay, like just you breathe, make sure you don't pass out, make sure you can actually handle the pain. And I was like, okay. The only things that hurt were like the bumps and then dips and stuff. Those things hurt really bad. And then basically they took me to the trauma care section. I went inside all quick. Oh yeah, forgot to tell you, my boyfriend put clothes on me. I didn't want to go naked.
Sure.
He was like, just go like that. It doesn't matter. They're hospital people. And I'm like, put clothes on me now. I'm all yelling at him. He's like, stop wasting your energy. I'm like, then just put clothes on me. I was like, I don't want to go naked. So he gets like the most expensive pants that I have, that are my favorite pants, and my most fuzziest, like prettiest shirt that I have. And also expensive. I don't really buy expensive things because I'm not one to buy things like that. They were gifted to me. So the nurse, is it okay if we cut off your clothes? Meanwhile, he's already cutting my pants off. Yeah. And I look at him and I'm like, you're already doing it. And I just started crying and I'm like, my pants. And I'm like, well, I mean, you kind of have to do it, so never mind. And I stopped crying and he's like, well, we need to check your back. We need to put you in an x-ray machine. We're going to do this and that and that and this. And I'm like, everything you just told me, I did not listen to you. But if you're going to do it, just do it, because I'm in a lot of pain. Yeah. I was like, I don't want to be sitting here anymore. Like, I don't want to lay here. Can I stand up? And they were like, they all just got quiet and just looked at me. And I was like, why are you staring at me? And they were like, nobody told you? And I was like, nobody told me what? And I was acting dumb at that point. Like, I knew. I just wanted an affirmation from them. And then he was like, the lady, when nurse walks up to me, she holds my hand. Honey, you're paralyzed. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, oh, let's get this process started then.
Yeah.
And I was like,
they probably never had anybody like you.
No.
Yeah.
No, they said I was very sweet and kind, and that I wouldn't let go of my stuffed animal. I was crying. I was like, I don't want to let go of it. It took them a lot to take it out of my hands. And they gave it back to me like immediately, because I was like, I need my stuffed animal. As soon as I woke up, I was like, where's my stuffed animal? Where's my stuffed animal? That's all I wanted. I don't know why. It's probably just because I could scream into it and I wouldn't hear myself or something. I don't know. But
at that point, it's unexplainable and who cares?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
I still have it. I sleep with it every night. It's my little baby. Yeah. I call him Stinky.
Oh, yeah. Wow. So, so much to unpack there. You got any thoughts, Forrest?
Well, I'm just thinking you may have found a new co-host here on the future. How many pots of coffee have you had, Rebecca? Or is this
Zero?
All Zero. This is all just natural. You wake up like this and all day long.
Yes.
You've got like 3 brains of simultaneous thoughts going on at one time.
It's called ADHD.
Well, I don't even think it's that. I think it's just your brain is so active and you've cultivated it that way.
Oh, thank you.
You can process more than one thing at a time, I know that, being a broadcaster and interviewing people, I have that kind of wired that way too. And I'm often thinking when people are talking, faster, more information, faster. You're going too slow. But you're doing great. You're painting the stories. I've been just kind of kicked my feet up, and I've got the chair relaxed back, and I was picturing this whole ride as you're inside the vehicle, and then the pants story. The boyfriend's going to get it later because they cut him off you.
Yeah, I knew where that was going to. They're going to be cutting those off.
Oh, I thought of my favorite pair of jeans and stuff, and it was like, oh no, yeah, you want to wear them because you feel they're comfort clothes, and yet, no, don't cut them off. And now you're asking me why you're cutting them off? Are you going to sew them up if I say no?
And I don't know what this says about me, but I'm thinking, why would you put jeans on somebody who's paralyzed? That because I know how tough it is to put jeans on when your legs, you can't keep them straight and rigid. You know all too well now. But so you're thinking pajamas or sweatpants or something would have been a lot easier. Yeah. So, but the other thing is just in listening to the stories we have over the course of Walk and Roll Live, it's everybody kind of comes to where you came to within minutes, it seems like, and it takes some months, some years. It's all different. So it's just, you never know how somebody's going to react in this situation. And I'll be honest, sometimes when I hear folks that seem to make that transition fairly quickly, I wonder, is it, are they being honest with themselves? Is the other shoe going to drop at some point? I don't get that impression with you, that, and I didn't get it with anybody else. I just wonder.
That is actually something that is not that we drop the ball on ourselves, but there is a part of us that
denial.
We have to be our best because we were the best before.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And it's something that drives us, and it is denial. Because there's times where I'm like, I'm not paralyzed. Like, I'll be able to walk again. And that's the part of me that's dropping the ball right there. Yeah. Because I'm telling myself, like not working hard enough. Or yeah. There's times where I'm like, you need to get up. You need to do this. You need to do that. And I'll be really tough on myself. Why? Because that's the very active walking Rebecca that's like, get on your stuff, grind. It's grind mode. Let's do this. And right now I'm like, okay, like I'm trying to cater to myself and be nice and be like, Rebecca, okay, take it one day at a time. But then the other half of me is like, get on it. So sometimes I feel like it is like I'm denying myself the freedom of accepting it slowly and actually maturing into it. Right now, I honestly do feel like I'm jumping the gun a lot. Yeah. I started doing a lot of things as soon as I could. I started joining a lot of programs as soon as I could. I don't have any regrets for joining anything. I don't. I love everybody that I've met. Like, I love all the groups that I'm in. Like, everybody literally has touched a piece of my heart that, I thought was never going to be healed. Like, I never knew there was other people like that were athletic, that like to do art, that like to play music. Like, everybody has their own thing that is disabled, and it's just so inspiring to me that's what makes me want to keep driving more, and that's what makes me like, I'm not being competitive towards everybody else. It's just that competition that's in me that's like, you need to do better, like you could do better. Like, look at all these people, look at everything that they've done, look at everything that they've worked for. Like, you need to be like them. And that's something that's like, I don't want to be like you guys. I want to make an impact like you guys. I want to be a face where people can find comfort in, like you. Because with your podcast, with everybody that you have helped, everybody that you have talked with, even people from the radio that you have talked with, you have helped so many people more than you know, that it inspires me to want to be like you, to be able to go out and be like, hey, let's do an interview. Let's talk at this time. And we could do it on Zoom or in person. Like, that's inspiring to me because you have your story. Your background is completely 180% different from mine. And it's just, I guess it gives me that drive to even want to even do anything for this program or for anybody, because honestly, if I haven't met you, because when I first met you, when I was first in Triumph, I think I met you like 3 or 4 months into Triumph. Mm-hmm. I was like, wow, I want to be next to him. Like, I want to sit next to him. And I like to look up to people, and I do. I could tell you, I look up to so many faces that sometimes I'm just like, I'm surrounded by so many good people that I want to break down because I don't feel like I'm good enough sometimes, because I don't feel like I'm doing as much as I can to put my energy, my signature for everybody to remember that they can create, that they can do, that they can say. Like, it's not, you are the only person who holds yourself back.
Yeah.
You can make yourself go super far, or you can stop yourself and make yourself super short.
Because nobody else really cares.
Yeah.
Really. You know what I mean? Whether you succeed or not.
Yeah.
They're not going to help you. More times than not, people try to hold you back for their own, selfish reasons, whatever they are, their insecurities, whatever. But, they're working at whatever level they can to help themselves. They're not going to, there's only a very, very few family, other loved ones that are going to encourage you. And even Forrest and I, we talk about this all the time, where, even those people closest in your life, you want to talk about something you're passionate about, and they have no time for it. It's not a conscious thought. I don't think they're like, oh, Doug wants to talk about that again. It's like they've just got their own lives.
Yeah, it's a revolving door that they just
keep going.
Keep pushing.
And I want to say too, because I've had this thought forever, with regrets. I don't regret anything in life that I've done, because this is the way I look at it, and I don't fault anybody, on a decision that they made in their past, that they may regret even. I tell them, you made the decision. I tell myself this, that you made the decision at the time, where your head was at the time and the information you had at the time. So you can't now, whatever it is, weeks, months, years later, with all the information and maturity and experiences that you have, to look back on that situation and say, I regret doing that. Whatever, you could say, maybe I wish I had made a different decision, but don't regret it. The only thing that drives me many times as far as regret goes is if I don't try something.
Exactly.
If I just don't try it because,
Or I regret not being kinder.
Or being kinder.
Yeah.
Absolutely. There are times when I did not try to make it right, when I recognize that situation.
I do something doubly kind.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, absolutely. So much. So, you do a wonderful job, and I appreciate the conversations that we've had here. And before we came on the air, you were telling me a few things, because you talk about coming to it later at your early age, in what the interviews we've had on the show, it's mostly, older, it's all different ages, but it's always later in life. And I didn't go through that because I had polio when I was a year old. So I know nothing different. And you were saying things without that topic even coming up, how you look up to me because, I've dealt with it longer. And I never looked at it from that perspective. I just looked like, I had the easy way. I didn't go through that kind of trauma, first of all, physical, and I didn't have to go through that entire shift in my life. I look at this as, I kind of took it easy,
that's how I look at it. Like, I got the easy way out. I got 22 years of walking. Like, I got to experience whatever, whenever, and however I wanted things. I never had to have somebody take care of me.
Yeah.
And I think that's the reason why I look up to everybody that has been disabled almost their whole life, is because you guys literally have gone through everything, like through it all. And for me to just become disabled and be like, hey, here I am, I'm disabled and I can still do things, like, I got the lucky way out. Like, here's 2 doors. You could choose to be paralyzed or you could choose to walk again. What do you want? And I guess my spirit was just like, let's be paralyzed and let's go see what this community's about. And it's inspiring to see all the little kids, like,
yeah, I love that.
To see them have that drive and that passion to want to go do something, to even compete against, like, me. Like, I'm competitive. And when these kids like get next to me, they look at me in my eyes and I see that fire and that passion that they have.
They're coming at you.
Yeah, and they're full speed and they look at you like there's no tomorrow. And they're like, I'm coming after you. And you're like, okay, little man, like, or little woman, like I see you. And I just think it's so beautiful because they like you said, you don't see it different. They don't see it different.
Yeah.
But in my eyes, like you're just you're a little angel. Like you deserve to be treated like you're the best because you are. Like you will now, from whatever age you were born like that, or any injury happened. Yeah. At that age, to me, that's the age that you kind of your spirit's fighting. Yeah. You're always fighting at that point. Well, once you have a spinal cord injury, I just feel like you're always fighting to be happy, to be not stressed out, to not worry, am I going to have enough catheters today? Did I bring enough this? Did I bring enough that? Like, oh, if I go on this plane trip, am I going to be like, okay, sitting next to this person? Or am I going to be tired? Or am I going to have to lean back? Or just any little thing now we have to worry about. And to me, to see all the little kids have to do that, to see them be just excited to go do things. Oh, I'm just excited as you are. Like, give me some of that energy. Like, I want some of that. Like, you guys are amazing little kids. And I don't know if you met Jocelyn, but she did go to the Triumph Sports Festival, just handing out little stickers. But she looked at me and said I was super cool. And I started crying because I was like, when I think people are cool, I think they are like the coolest person on the planet. Like, cool just doesn't mean cool anymore in my eyes. Like, you are super cool. Like, I want to be next to you. I want to sit next to you. Like, I want to be next to you. Like, I want to learn from you. Like, I look up to you. Like, that's what I think cool is. And when her mom like gave me a hug and was like, you inspire her. And I was like, I inspire her? Like, no, she inspires me. She's the reason, like, I did rugby. Like, she's the reason I did anything out here. Like, and it's really beautiful to just see the little kids want to compete with me.
Yeah.
And it like gives me that motivation to be like, when you guys hit your 20s and you guys are my age, you guys can do exactly what I did because you guys will have somebody to look at, somebody to look forward to. Like, all my teammates, like, we have, for football, we made like a little impact and now we're going to be remembered. And it's not just for us. It's going to be like people can look up to us and be like, hey, like, I want to try that. They did it. Like, I know them. And that's what's exciting. Like, it's just like.
Well, listen.
Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. Because this, I can see this going on for about 3 hours. So we may have to have you back again. But and you alluded to it there with football, and I want to talk about that. But you've kind of gotten into it at this point. So I want to talk a little bit more pointedly about your work with Triumph Foundation. Yes. You know, how did you come to be in their sphere of
awesomeness?
And their awesomeness. But how did you come to their on their radar?
I broke my back. Ended up in Pomona, so Casa Colina in Pomona.
Okay, yeah, great.
And they had meetings there every Friday at the time. The first meeting was on Friday, and then all of a sudden they switched it to Wednesdays, every single Wednesday. So,
were you a resident there for a while?
Yes, I was there for 2 months.
Yeah.
Or a month and like almost, I was just shy of 2 months.
Yeah.
Very, very shy of 2 months.
Okay.
So my physical therapist, Lewis, occupational therapist.
Okay.
My occupational therapist, Lewis, walked in my room, and it was like the first week I was there, but like the third day, like during a weekday. So it was Wednesday. And he tells me, he's like, hey, you need to get up. And I'm like, ew, why are you talking to me like that? Because it was the first time like the third day I met him, basically. And he's like, I know how you are.
Get up, you're in bed?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It was like 7 a.m. He's like, hey, you need to get up. And I was like, ew, why are you talking to me like that? Like, ew. And he's like, did you brush your teeth yet? Have you gotten ready? Did you eat breakfast? And I'm like, no, I don't want to do anything today, actually. And he was like, well, that sucks. You need to get up today because there's a meeting that you need to attend.
I'm going to ask you something real
Yes.
quick. For the listening audience, they've heard of physical therapy, maybe not as much occupational therapy. And all those things you listed would fall under occupational therapy.
Yes.
Right.
So showering, eating, making myself my own breakfast, because they would separate it for me, and then I would basically have to put it together. And then my nurse would bring my toothbrush over my little counter area.
Yeah.
Because at the time hold on, how do I say this? For the first 2 weeks I was there, didn't go to the bathroom. I did not want to look at myself in the mirror. I was 101 pounds. I didn't recognize myself.
Yeah.
I was just too skinny. I've never been that skinny. So it was just like mind-boggling, I guess. And I had I was bruised up everywhere. My face was bruised up. I just looked sick. And I just didn't want to look at myself. Sure. And my therapist was just like, well, as long as I was taking bed baths and stuff. So he's like, as long as you get up today. And I was like, okay, well, can you just give me a week to be lazy? And I literally said, be miserable. Just give me a week to be miserable. And then I'll be Miss Champion Rebecca. I'll have a smile on my face. Because every time they would walk in, I would have a smile. Because I never liked showing people my pain. Mm-hmm. I'm one of those people. So he was like, you could be honest, you don't have to lie. And I'm like, I'm not lying, I'm fine.
So he knew better.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he knew okay, I know this girl. She's a tough character. She's a tough cookie. So he would always push me and push me and push me. So that day he really pushed me to the point where I was like, fine, I'll eat. Slapped my thing together in front of him, and then I started eating it. And I looked at him like I wanted to beat him up. And he's looking at me like, you're finally eating. And he's like, so there's a meeting today. They're called Triumph Foundation. I'm not going to tell you anything about them. We're just going to go. And I was like, do I have to? He said, you don't have to if you don't want to. It's just, you'll like it. And I was like, is my physical therapist going to be there, Elliot? And he was like, no, I was going to go. And I was like, do I still get to have physical therapy and occupational therapy if I go to this meeting? He was like, yeah. And I was like, okay, cool, then I'll go. As long as it doesn't interfere.
You're negotiating.
Yeah, because I was like, you're going to make me get up today? I'm good at everything. I don't care. I'm mad now. And when I get upset, I'm like, I'll do whatever I need to do right now, this very second. So I ended up getting dressed. He helped me put my pants on. And then I was able to put my shirt on. The third day I was there, I was already trying to put my clothes on. And my, the blood pressure things for your legs, I forgot what they're called.
Yeah, the
pantyhose or no?
They're
compression socks.
socks.
Oh, compression socks.
There you
Yeah.
go. Yeah.
I had a thigh-high one, so I was trying to put those on since the first day.
Those are hard to get on.
They are, and then I'm like, oh, you need a small, and I'm like, you can't give me a medium. I can't even put this small on my leg. They're like, medium's too big, and I'm like, we're gonna have to compensate here. So we basically, I ended up getting up. I had high top Vans that I was trying to put on my feet. I don't know why I had those. My sister gave them to me. That's why I had them. And I was like, I'm proud of them. They're my sisters. I'll wear them. My feet were so swollen, I can't even put them on. They're all open and stuff. It was funny. I ended up going to the first meeting. I went in the room, and I met Dean and Anthony. Those are the first two guys that I met from Triumph. And they told everybody their story. It was I think 4 of us in the room, and then plus them 2. And they told us their stories, and I kind of started observing them. I would listen to everybody's story, and I would cry like a baby, and then I would be really excited to hear oh, I'm doing better. I could lift especially the quads. Oh gosh, when the quads would start lifting their arms up and getting their arm strength back, I would go crazy. I would be like, yeah. I'd be cheering for them in the room, and then I would see them in the hallway, and I would be thumbs up, and they would be just putting their arm up, and I was I would get so excited. I would just start crying for them and stuff. Because it's just so beautiful to see everybody just in that room get better. And I think I went to every single meeting. Every single time they would have a meeting, I would go to them. And then every time they wouldn't go, I would feel sad. And then I would be like, well, let's start our own meeting. And then I would kind of hurdle whoever I could together. And I ended up staying in contact with Triumph. I started going to more events. I asked, I was like, is there something I could do for you guys so I had my first interview with them. That's how it all started, basically, at the first sports festival that I ever went to. And I thanked Triumph. I was like, I wish I knew about you guys before I became paralyzed, because I probably would have never became paralyzed, 1. And 2, I really love helping people, and I would have loved to help Triumph before I was paralyzed because I loved helping as it was.
Yeah.
And Triumph caught me so hard by surprise because I didn't know that there was people out there that could make an impact and actually help you and be there and be present and always be consistent. Because there's places where you meet people and they're not always as consistent as you wish them to be. But it's just like, it's beautiful to see that there's not just you out there.
Yeah.
Like, you're out here. You hang out with Triumph. And then from Triumph, your name gets spread around. And then it's just like, there's a community of us. And then there's just more and more and more. And then all we want to do is just help and help and help. And like, I was like, basically told Triumph I wanted to become an ambassador. I kept asking and asking and asking. As soon as I hit 10 months, I was like, please, 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 please. Like, I really want to be an ambassador. It took me a year and 1 month to get my ambassador's tag. A year and 10 months. I'm sorry. A year and 10 months to get my ambassador's tag. And my first, when I went to a meeting for the first time, like in person, I went to, I think it was Rancho here.
In the ambassador role?
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know what I was like. I knew what to expect because, of course, I went through it.
Yeah.
And I'm very open to listening and stuff. It was a young lady and an older lady. And just having to see them for the first time, it was so different from the other side. All I wanted to do was make her feel better. All I wanted to tell her was her life was going to get better. And all she wanted to talk about was the negative stuff, which is understandable.
Yep.
Completely and 100%. And I told her, whatever you want to know, I will tell you in 100% honesty. I'm not going to lie to you, and I'm not going to tell you, oh, well, I did it this way because this is what I was comfortable with. No, you do it the way you want to do it. That's what I was telling her. You need to figure things out yourself. This is the way I figured it out.
Yeah.
We're completely different people. And structure-wise, too, as well. The mental state of both of the young ladies were completely different. I was like her in the very beginning. And I was like the lady that I met, the other lady, was just like me now. Like, the way I act right now, she's like that right now. And it was just like two completely different characters.
But their injuries were at the same time?
Yes.
Or relatively close?
Relatively close.
Okay.
And I think they were like a week apart.
Yeah.
And just to hear their stories and just to hear how they message me now to this day, and I could, like, I'll message them back and I'll be like, hey, how are you? I'm doing great. Like, I feel so happy. Thank you so much for your help. Like, I'm actually getting all the help I need, this and that. Like, if it wasn't for you opening up to us. And I'm like, well, if it wasn't for you opening up to me, like, if it wasn't for you trusting me enough, like, I'm an open book. I told her that. Like, I'll tell you whatever. I just need you to talk to me. Whatever you need to know, I will tell you. And, like, I meet even men that I meet that are disabled that I kind of see them sitting out by themselves when we're playing games or whatever. I'll go up to them and be like, hey, how are you doing today? Oh, I feel a little sad today. This is going on. That's going on. And I'm like, oh, man, cheer up. Come on, let's go play something. Or, like, we'll talk about it while we roll and let's get some exercise in. And then it, like, gives them that, like a structure. Like, oh, well, if I feel like this, I should get on the move and then, like, kind of get myself to think about other things or, you know, not feel so bad or something. And
yeah.
I don't know. I want to be able to give that to people, which is, like, if you have a different mentality, if you work on your mentality, if you work on your mental state, your emotions, you could get there to maybe one day feel as great as you want to feel on the inside for yourself.
Absolutely. You know, we've had a couple of guests on this show who have had people just come into their hospital room while they're still at that point of their recovery. And to this day, they don't know who they are. You know, and that's sometimes the only support they've gotten is somebody. Mm-hmm. And this was years ago before there were organizations like Triumph and CAF and, you know, all the other ones. And they don't even know where they're from, but they came in, spent 20 minutes with them, left. They don't know who they are. That's all the support they got. But they talk about, you know, that was a turning point for them.
Yeah.
You know, to get, you know, whatever they said, whatever they saw, like you were talking about, you know, you're observing. You know, that person's talking, but you're taking the whole picture in, you know, how they're, you know, presenting themselves, how they're carrying themselves, all of that. Yeah. And it's just so valuable. And that's been all some people have needed.
Yeah. Just to be listened to.
Right. Yeah. You know, so again, we could go on and on and on. And we'll give Triumph information at the end of this. So if there's anybody that is interested in learning more, but also want to talk about your, and probably kind of wrap up here, is your football experience that you had this past weekend.
It was actually my first time ever playing wheelchair football. I did play football, like tackle football, flag football, like all those fun sports when I was walking. And I just like, I fell in love with football, wheelchair football. It's so fun. It's so like, you got to put your heart on the field. You got to put your mind with your team. Like, you guys have to be a unit. Like, I've never seen women and men be so united and so caring, but at the same time, so like, we're gonna murder this. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this. It's just makes me want to cry because when I look at them, I see them in me. Like, I see the challenges that they face. I see the struggles. I see everything that they go through. Most of them have jobs, honestly. I think all of them have jobs. I'm like the only one who doesn't, I think. But like, they go to work, they go back home, like, they go to football, they do other things, like, they go out to Triumph events. Like, it's just so motivating to be around men and women like that want to do something with their lives, that want to prosper, that, like, some of them, it's their first time ever playing football, and, like, they feel like their dreams came true, and it's just so exciting just to hear that. I know they're grown men, but I see them like my little brothers, like my boys.
Yeah.
It's just so nice I forget that I'm paralyzed. I forget that I'm like this, and I forget that I'm in the same situation as them, and all I want to do is give them hugs and give them high fives and tell them, like, I love you guys. Like, we did this. Like, we kicked really good. I mean, we did one touchdown and we lost every other game, but it was just so nice to see us work as a team. Yeah. And like, we may not have shown as much emotion, like crying and like all that stuff, but just knowing that I know I have a group that I could count on. I can call my team, like, maybe, I don't know, if I were, hey guys, you want to come hang out? Like, let's go somewhere. Like, it's just so nice to see the team and our camaraderie.
We're at 3 a.m. and you need help. They're going to be there for you.
Yeah. And I wish sometimes I could be closer to them because I live in Hemet and they're all in Los Angeles. But like, I like the distance because then it makes me miss them. It makes me want to go back over there and be like, I missed you guys. Where we at? But it was really beautiful. And my coach, he made miracles happen. Those 3 days that we went to Chicago, like, I never been on a plane before. Like, my first time being paralyzed was my first time. And
so this is the first time you ever took a flight?
No.
No, it's okay.
My second time ever taking a flight. So I went to Tennessee once.
Okay.
On a plane. Yeah.
Paralyzed or
no,
before?
Walking.
Walking before. Yeah. A whole different experience. A whole different experience.
Extremely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never had to sit in the chair.
Yes.
Or wait.
And you did it on steroids, for crying out loud. You know, because, you know, I traveled here recently, and I hadn't traveled for quite a while. And the last time I traveled, I could get up on my crutches and walk a little bit. So I could get down the gateway and then leave my wheelchair and walk to my seat. Whereas this is the first time I've had to get on the aisle chair, you know. I'm sure you experienced that.
Yeah.
You know, so that's just me on the plane. You know, so one of the flights I got pre-boarded, so nobody's on there. And then another one, you know, there was other people that got pre-boarded. And, you know, so you're having to get on this thing and then go up the aisle with a plane full of people. But you did that with 13 teammates? Or, yeah. With all There are day chairs, there are daily chairs and everyday chairs, and there are sports chair.
Yes. So there was 3 of them that didn't have wheelchairs because they could partially, or 3 or 4 that could partially walk.
But still, you've got closing in on 30 chairs, 30 plus.
Oh yeah,
chairs?
basically, yeah. It was a lot. It was a lot of chairs, and the flight people were like, they were super nice, taking us in and out.
Yeah.
Like I honestly, I was a little surprised that they were so careful enough not to bump.
Yeah.
Like I never got bumped once. I was surprised. And like, I mean, I'm really tiny. I literally fit the chair. Like I'm exactly the size of the chair. So lucky me, I didn't have to feel any bumps or nothing. But it was a new experience to be on a plane, and then just to have like everybody just stare at you as you're going down the hallway, and you're like, I was waving, looking at them.
Well, I mean, you can imagine. I grew up with this, right? So the stairs just kind of disappear after a while, when you've done it for 20, 30, 40, 50 years. So one time my brother, when he played wheelchair basketball, and they came down for a tournament here in Southern California, and then we went out to dinner afterwards. So you got to notice the stairs when there's 11 people coming into the dining room in wheelchairs, Yeah, we didn't need a table for 11, no chairs. So, sorry, go ahead.
But yeah, it was a really good experience.
So it kind of delayed the flight, right?
Yes.
So were the
But
other passengers?
Not too much.
No, they weren't angry.
I mean, they're all like huffing and puffing,
What can they say?
I mean, yeah, they were really nice people though. Like, there's a lady when the first time I got on the plane when we were going to Chicago, she was like, "You're in my seat," and I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry." I told her they sat me here because, and then I didn't even get to finish saying anything, and she's like, "You need to move out of my seat," and she got like super close to me, and then I didn't know what to say. I froze up. I was like, because I was like, this is my first confrontation in my entire life being paralyzed. I don't know what to do. I just smiled at her because when I'm discomforted, when I'm discomforted, I just smile. Like I'll just get tears. I'm just like, hee. So the girl that was like the girl that was in the hallway, like in my hall, she sat down already, and she was like, "Excuse me, ma'am, she's paralyzed. You could sit down." And I was like, I looked at her and I was like, "Thank you so much." And everybody in the plane was like, and I was like, "Oh, this is more embarrassing than I thought." I was like, "Would have been fine if nobody made a sound."
Yeah, it's this is one of those little life lessons for people, and not just with somebody paralyzed, but to consider what a person may be going through.
Yeah.
You don't know all the information, and find out before you put your foot in your mouth.
Yep. Yeah. She's all apologizing. She's all getting close to me, and I'm like, "No, lady, it's okay. Like it's fine. You're fine."
And I don't know about you, but for me, I know what's coming. When a person's acting like that. And I can't get out of it. At some point you're going to learn why I'm in this seat and why I can't move. And you're going to feel bad.
Yeah.
If you're half a human being, and I can't protect you from that at this moment. You started this ball rolling, and it's coming your way, and I can't stop it. I hope the best for
you. I felt
her.
embarrassed for her because I was just like, "You're holding up the line too, lady.
Yeah.
Like you're making everybody mad."
Trust me, you'll get experience, and you'll have something to say. And I'm sure you won't hesitate to say it.
Then my team's like, "Do you want us to say something to her?" I was like, No.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be mean,
just
but you'll have a way of addressing that in an appropriate way.
Because I don't like to. I don't know. I don't know people out there in the real world. Because right now I'm living in like my world, I guess, and I'm trying to get my world back together.
Yeah.
So I've been really I really haven't been 100% out there in the world doing everything I could be doing. I do go to the grocery store. I do things for myself. I drive myself around, and like I'll take my mom to wherever I go with me, or my caregiver or something. But I rarely face any negativity or anything. People are just so kind.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And I love little kids. The little kids will grab me from the back. I don't even know these kids. Grab me from the back of my wheelchair and just start pushing me. And I'll be like, "Yeah, faster. And they'll start running and stuff. And I'll start slowing down because I don't want them to fall.
Yeah.
And they'll step on my toes and
kids
stuff.
Kids love to push wheelchairs, don't they?
They do. They'll eyeball my tires because they're all colorful. Mm-hmm. Like my rims, the spokes. And then they'll start pulling on them and stuff, and the parents will be like, "I'm so sorry," and I'll be like, "No, it's fine. they're allowed to play with this. Like, they need to know what it is to have a wheelchair around them, and like I'll explain to the parents why I'm okay with it and why it doesn't bother me, and like I'll be like, if you want to, like, I'm not weird, if you want to sit them on my lap so they can like kind of get an experience. And then the parents are like, yeah, of course, like as long as you're okay with that, like as long as it's not weird, because the kid's already stepping all over my feet, like crying, trying to reach me and stuff. And I'm like, I look at them and I'm like, I want to lift you up so bad, but you're not my child. And then I'll put the seatbelt, because they'll pull on my seatbelt. Like a lot of little kids will pull on my seatbelt, and then I'll put it over them. And then everybody's like, take off your seatbelt. You don't need a seatbelt. And I'm like, I need a seatbelt. Like, people like to sit on my lap. Like I love taking little kids around, and like, because they never have that experience, and hopefully they never will.
Right.
And if I could give it to them as a child,
but even as an able-bodied person, if they have that experience, then when they meet somebody at their school or whatever it is,
they'll have an open heart.
They've
They'll
got
be
the
more
experience
open-minded.
already.
Yeah.
You said something earlier, and I just want to come around to it one more time. Is that when Lewis, your occupational therapist, came in your room, and was just like, all right, time to get up. You get to a point, and maybe you've already gotten to this point where you cherish people like that.
Yes.
Because most of the world treats you like you're some little, kitten they've just found, out somewhere, and they're going to rescue it, which, and this is a space where we can talk about these kinds of things. And, I don't talk about them anywhere else, and I don't think any less of people for it, but you find yourself just reacting to those kinds of things. It gives you such pleasure that somebody is not treating you like you're the China doll, Yes, 100%. I'm in a chair, but I still got to get up in the morning, and somebody should be telling me if I'm not.
Yeah.
Right?
I would like for somebody to be like, you're seriously not getting up right now?
Yeah.
Like, you're seriously going to lay there and be that lazy today?
Yeah.
I do that to myself. And there's times where I'll sleep until like 11, I'm not even going to lie. And I'll be like, you didn't take your medicine. You went to the bathroom twice. You haven't drank water. You're going to be dehydrated all day. You're going to be in a bad mood. Way to go, Rebecca. Way to go. You just ruined your day. And I was like, and I always tell myself, now you can't even make half the goals you're supposed to. Like, you can't do anything today. You already wasted it. But I do, like, once I left the hospital, I cried. I cried like a baby, because I was like, I'm not one to like change. I don't like change. I like when things are set straight in stone. I like to move forward, and I like to just boom, 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 next thing. And for them to be like, you're leaving here in 2 weeks. I still haven't even taken a shower. I've never even washed myself in the shower, and I leave in 2 weeks. That entire week I was showering.
Just for the practice?
Yeah. I woke up at 7 in the morning just to take a shower. And then, do you want to take another shower today? No, I'm fine. Like, I would just, it would just make me so mad, because like the shower water would freak me out. Just a sound of just shh. And then now I can take a shower. Now I love the shower. Now I'm like in the shower for like an hour or two, just like, oh, it's so warm. And then I like to turn the water cold, and I like to like let my muscles relax, and then I'll put it back up to hot.
Yeah.
And then I'll do like steaming hot to the point where like the whole bathroom I can't even breathe in and stuff.
The shower is my spa, just so you know.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, I got to get you out of here. But I do want to ask you one last thing.
Yes.
What are your hopes and dreams from this, kind of from this perspective going forward? What are the things, what's on, like, say, a bucket list, I guess they call it?
My bucket list is full of a lot. I would like to relearn how to play musical instruments. I really, really, really am hoping that I work hard for this for 2020. What is it? 2028 Paralympics.
Oh, okay.
I really want to go to that for rowing, archery, and fencing. So I'm gonna have to work hard.
Do you have a fencing coach?
No, but there's one in Temecula, a disabled one, and they want me to start practicing over there. And I'm going to move to Temecula next month. Okay. So hopefully it all works out. I just need to start getting the ball on the grind, and I want to start going back to school. I want to get my master's degree, and I want to be I want to teach military personnel, aviation, electronic technician. It's something I've always wanted to do. I love working with my hands, and I love teaching people, and I just have so much respect for our people in our military, and they honor us. They do a lot for us, and I want to do something for them. And I think being disabled and showing them that no matter what happens, because things happen in the military, you become disabled, there's still a world out there for you that you can continue to progress in. Because I've met a lot of people who are disabled that are in the military, and their first thought was, I didn't want to be here anymore, and I'm still here, and I'm still doing it. And then they just need that extra motivation. Like, they just need that extra person, or that, like, random person like me, this little girl that comes out of nowhere that's just like, get your butt up there, go do this. Like, I like to motivate people, and age is just a number. You never stop learning. You never stop growing. Like, you could either, when you're older, you could become bitter or happy. Mm-hmm. Same thing when you're young. So I've just learned, like, pick and choose correct friends, 100%.
Yeah.
And honor everybody around you that supports you, that does give you all the support that you need. Even if you don't see the support, you don't physically see it, but they are giving you the support. Respect those people, because those people are by your side.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't be where I'm at if I never met Triumph, if I never met Live to Roll, if I never met you, if I never met, like, my football team. My football team motivated me to, like, want to continue. And not that I didn't, but I have days where I don't even want to get out of bed. I feel so angry at the world, and it's not even the world's fault. Yeah. And I tell myself, why are you mad? Like, what is your point? You waste more energy. You hurt yourself more being mad. And I don't want to teach people how to be mad. I want to teach them how to be happy. I want to teach them how to love, how to give each other peace, how to support each other, how to be there, how to actually be there for someone when they're asking for the help, or they're not verbally saying it, but you're seeing signs.
Yeah.
Because we all of us in wheelchairs walk on a fine line between wanting to be here or not wanting to be here. And it's sad, because a lot of the people that I meet that have told me, like, hey, like, I'm going through this and I'm going through that, and, like, it's hard. I never went through that. I don't understand that. Mm-hmm. But I'm trying to be open, and I'm trying to understand, because I want to understand that person, because I want to be there. Not to be weird, not to be intermingling in your life, because you need to be here on this planet, because you deserve to be here.
Yeah. Because
just like I'm here, you're going to be here. And I was telling them, if you're going out, I'm going out with you. How does that make you feel? And they're like, no. But
and, you know, that's one of the reasons that I do this, you know, and I hesitate sometimes to say that, because this part of it, where you say we go through things, you know, we're all going through things. You know, if we talk about pre-injury life, you know, the incident in our cases, and then post-injury life, and how that could be a struggle to kind of realize that there are dreams out there that you can achieve, right? Mm-hmm. Because it all seems like it's over in that moment. But it's not like you get to a point and, oh, we're all done. We're all mentally good and, you know, everything's great. No, it's a lifelong journey.
Yep, it's a never-ending.
And I just feel like telling these stories, you know, which you have done here today, and, you know, the stories that we've had since we've been doing this. I think you as the storyteller, this is part of your journey and part of your rehabilitation mentally, and in telling the story and other people getting to hear it, whether they're going through it or not. I think it can help people that are paralyzed as well, or have some other kind of disability. And for people that don't, they can learn lessons from it to whatever degree of whatever is going on in their lives. They can also learn from it as well. Mm-hmm. That's my hope. Yeah.
Yes.
So thank you. Thank you for coming here today. And I think everybody listening to this knows now why Rebeca is the first guest, because, you know, in the studio, because she asked. Nobody had ever asked before. We'd always done it on Zoom, and they were happy with that. And I said, I want to come to your place. Okay, I've never done that before, but, you know, with our new studio, I'm proud to have somebody here.
It looks gorgeous in here. I love it.
Glad it was you.
Thank you so much for having me.
My pleasure. Forrest, any closing remarks?
Yes, just a couple of thoughts real quick. Doug opened up a can of worms a while back, and I just was going to mention it to the guests the last couple of times, but I think we missed out on it. But he put out the question, how long does it take you to put on your, what was it, shoes, shirt, and socks?
Yeah.
Right?
Well, shoes, socks, and pants. Just that 3 items.
Those 3 items.
Takes me about 3 minutes.
You can do it in 3 minutes?
Yes.
Wow. So, and how do you know so definitely?
I timed myself.
I timed myself too.
As soon as I was in the hospital, I was timing myself. I was like, I gotta get faster. It took me 10 minutes the first time. It took me about 3 months to get down to 5 minutes, and now it's just like a slip, slide. Done. I'm hyper flexible.
Are you tying your shoes? I'm pretty flexible.
Well, I have Crocs on.
Oh, okay.
I do tie my shoes.
That would shave some time off my time. I
have tennis shoes every once in a while. But right now it's summertime, so my toes need to breathe.
Yeah. You know, I time myself. You want to take a stab at my time?
8 minutes.
You were close, 7.5.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Not too bad.
No,
I figured.
Not bad at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it takes me about 8 minutes to do it on my chair.
The last thoughts, Rebecca, that I have is that it's funny how life, does throw us those different obstacles and things, and how at one time, which is totally appropriate, it's your career. You were looking to become manager. You trained yourself in the front of the back of the house and learned all of the trades and get ready to, slide into that managerial position, which is appropriate for your age at that time. But now things happen, and now you're saying, Applebee's manager, heck with that. I'm going to the Paralympics in 2028.
Yes. There's too much potential inside me for me to hold it inside Applebee's. And I want the world to see that we're not disabled. Like, nothing is holding us back. No one holds us back. I mean, we are disabled, but in a sense, we're not mentally like that. Yeah, we can process and continue pushing forward. And everybody with a disability has a potential to push forward. We just need somebody, or we just need to believe in ourselves. We need someone to believe in us, or we need to believe in ourselves.
Yeah. Well, on that note, we're done.
Thank you so much for asking questions.
Tuned in to Walk and Roll Live podcast. Such a refreshing perspective on life and disability. Love it.
Every episode brings a new story that's both inspiring and eye-opening. Can't get enough.
The hosts make you feel like you're part of a genuine conversation. Walk and Roll Live is my weekly dose of positivity.
Walk and Roll Live is a game changer. It's not just about disabilities. It's about embracing life's challenges with a smile. Highly recommend.
My go-to podcast for real, unfiltered conversations. It's like having a cup of coffee with friends who share incredible stories.
Walk and Roll Live. Welcome to Walk and Roll Live with Doug Vincent and Rebeca Valenzuela.
And welcome back. I want to thank Ugyar Professionals, and especially now because of the new and improved Ugyar Professional Studio. It's been a little time, but it was great having an in-studio guest to see face-to-face and to actually see some expressions rather than trying to get them through vocal. You can see them. And Rebecca, and then how do you say her last name, Doug?
Jeez, now you ask me and then I blow it. Valenzuela.
Yeah, because when Fernando Valenzuela came up with the Dodgers, I had those moments so many times that I thought he was from the country and not, from Venezuela. Venezuela, not
Valenzuela.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I goofed that so many times. Of course, back then I was only, 20 years old, or 25. I don't remember. Anyway, what a guest, though. What energy, and what did you have her sign for an in-studio guest? She was the first one.
Yeah. So I've got I couldn't be more thrilled, and like I think I said at some point, that was her idea, to come by here, and I loved it. But so I got a frame, and then I got the mat. I got a big frame, and then I got a mat for a small picture in the big frame. So there's a lot of border around whatever picture I eventually put in there. But then I just had her sign that that mat. So as I have more guests here in studio, I'm going to have them sign that. And just as it may, I mean, I didn't try to get this going, but next week's guest, for various circumstances, maybe in studio as well. And then there's another young lady that's going to come by and talk about the Volunteers for Veterans, and she lives not too far from here. So I said, hey, come on by. So we're going to go from none for the longest time, and now all of a sudden, maybe possibly 3. Start a little trend. It's nice.
Yeah, the word's getting out.
Yeah. And it's to the point, and again, thank you for your efforts in getting it in here. But it's to a point where I'd love for people to see it, and it's functional too. Once you get in here, what the setup I had before could work, but it just wasn't as comfortable for it to have a guest. I would be comfortable where I was, but where I would have had to put the guest, it was just kind of awkward and not inviting. So yeah, this works much better. Hello, who's that?
Yeah. Oh, there's some sagebrush or something talking.
They're talking back.
Yep, talking back to the dog. And the best part about the whole thing is that it matches up to Doug's capabilities and professionalism and where you are in your career. And the studio is in line with that rather than a starter recording studio or whatever.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate those kind words, sir. Just a couple other things I want to take care of. Possibilities grants deadline is 4 days from now. Yeah, August 31st, 2024. Just so whenever you're listening to this, it may be 2 years ago. But those are closing in if you want to get your application in for something. And then also Triumph, I was looking on their website today to see, it looks like they do theirs quarterly. So even if you missed this one that's going on, they'll have more coming up. So that's on our events page. Some other goodies on our events page. There's a baseball game coming up in San Bernardino that is free with food and all of that stuff. Just go look on the events page. It's on September 5th, which I believe is next Tuesday. Does that sound right? Or the Tuesday following? I don't know. Something like
Tuesday that. Tuesday is the 3rd. That's when my mom's getting her pacemaker.
Okay, good. She's getting a pacemaker? So you have that scheduled?
Yep.
All right.
It was later in the year, but they bumped it up. So
good.
Thanks for the encouragement.
We'll keep her in our thoughts. Absolutely. All right. I think that's all I got. Oh, then the website to go look for all those things I was just talking about is walkandrolllive.com. I don't know if I have ever mentioned this, and I'm just going to throw it out there now. But a while back, I put a donate button on our website, walkandrolllive.com. If you like what we do here and want to support us in some small financial fashion, we would love that. So if you just go to the page, very easy. I think you pay through PayPal when you hit the button at walkandrolllive.com. So just throw that out there. Thank you, Forrest, again. After listening to Rebecca, again, we talked quite a bit off, outside the interviews. I don't know if we mentioned this in the interview or not, just that we might have another guest host that might help us when Eric's not around. So Forrest doesn't have to do it all, the heavy lifting.
Oh, and she'd be a great one for it. I don't know, though. She may not let you get a question in.
I'd be fine with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Thanks again, brother. I appreciate it. Have a good week. We'll talk soon.
Rock and roll life. Life's the best. Rock and roll life. Life limitless. Where voices unite, walk and roll live, a guiding light, a platform vibrant, a beacon strong, for the disabled community to belong. Shared narratives weave stories untold, in conversations deep hearts unfold. Finds home, camaraderie's embrace. Walk and roll live, a sacred space. unity's dance, in hearts entwined. Through trials and triumphs, tales we share, strength and vulnerability we dare. From every corner, voices rise. In Walk and Roll Live, our spirits fly. Shared narratives weave stories untold. In conversations, deep hearts unfold. Healing finds home, camaraderie's embrace. Walk and Roll Live, a sacred space. Empowerment's anthem, awareness call. Inclusivity's banner, standing tall. Trusted source we stand, providers aligned. For unity's dance, in hearts entwined. Through trials faced and mountains climbed, in unity's embrace, hope we find. From every walk and every roll, Walk and Roll Live, a beacon's role. Empowerment's anthem, awareness call. Inclusivity's banner, standing tall. Trusted source we stand, providers aligned. For unity's dance, in hearts entwined. Through trials faced and mountains climbed, in unity's embrace, hope we find.